So we start from this week, okay? 18th, this week started from 16. So 11th, right? So we will review all the trades from 11. So just London session trades, okay? London session trades. Let's review them. Okay, all right. So let's do in your time zone, right? GMT plus 8. Okay. All right. So this is 11th of July. That's Monday, the first Monday, right? So we're gonna find out the London Open. Vertical line London Open. Okay. And 15 minutes before London Open, right? We will analyze here. So we have to draw the structure, okay? 15 minutes before the overnight high. Obviously the overnight low was this one. Last major low after this one, like this would be the overnight low, right? $10 o'clock your time. Not 10 o'clock. Should be the highest one would be 6 a.m. 4.
Should be 3, I think.
3 a.m. right?
Yeah,
Okay.
3 a.m.
Okay, all right. So 3 a.m. we draw the structure line, the highest point. The highest point 3 a.m. obviously is here. So this overnight high, okay. And how about overnight low? Where would you put the overnight low? This is London Open. The overnight low would be starting from here.
Somewhere there, I guess.
Right. This is a developing structure, right? So this would be the last low, right? Okay. So overnight low. Because here we are already in the developing structure, right? We cannot place right over here. So we have to place right over here. So that's the overnight low, right? So what's the bias now? What can you see from here to here? That's a significant downtrend, okay? That's a downtrend here. The price is going down. And how about this one? What do you see in the background here? You see a very high volume, you can see? So that's a kind of distribution structure. So we just write down distribution structure, sorry. Okay, major sign of weakness, right? Right over here, we have a downtrend here. Okay, now, just before London Open, you see that the price is coming down, and just near London Open, just a few minutes before London Open, the price starts. What does the price do here?
Ranging.
Ranging, right? And I call this structure something, right? Do you remember? We named this structure specific things.
Redistribution.
Yes, it's a
Build down.
build down near resistance. No, sorry, near support, right? Near support of overnight low, right? So this is obviously what? Redistribution, right? So this is new redistribution here, the structure, right? Okay, and how about what else do you see? And the price is also making what? Lower highs into structure. Can you see? VCP pattern. Yeah. VCP pattern. So that shows that this confirms, this both confirms this build down, and VCP pattern confirms that it's also major sign of weakness in the background, right? Redistribution pattern. And now the price breaks through, right? On a very high volume. Can you see? Right? This is what? FTI, falling through ice, right? Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
When this is falling through ice, what do you see, right? Okay. This falling through ice also, all of this, all like this one is also what? MSOW, right? We have so many major sign of weakness in the background. First one, this one, okay, falling through ice here. This one is also MSOW, right? This one also MSOW. This distribution structure is also MSOW because after distribution structure we have a downtrend. So this is also MSOW. Okay, and you can clearly see there is, of course, what do we see here? This, a kind of shortening of the thrust as well. But this is not necessary because this was before the London Open, right? Before the overnight high and low. So we will discard this. All right, now we go to the 5-minute time frame. All right. We have this 5-minute time frame. What do we see in a 5-minute time frame? The price breaks through it, falling through ice. Okay. And then we have this one as a, we came back, right? Retested it, and then the price went down again. So this is what? LPSY. Am I right?
Yeah. Right.
Last point of supply, right? Here we cannot draw the kind of, the channel right now because we already detected the pattern, right? So it's not necessary that every time you will have a structure like this, right? A straight channel. You can also have this VCB pattern, LPSY, and a distributed structure like this in the background. So it's all about you understanding how do you interpret it, okay? And then we go to the 3-minute time frame. Very simple. We have the bias. Can you tell me the bias? What is bias?
Hamish?
Yeah, what is the bias? Now, remember one thing. During London Open, before London Open, we have already broken down the overnight low. So there is no need to remember the bias between the overnight high and low and at the overnight high and at the overnight low. Why? Because we have already broken down the overnight low. Am I right? Right?
Yeah.
We are not between
Yeah.
overnight high and low. So there is no need to remember, so there is no need to mention about the bias between overnight high and low. So we have one bias, which is bearish. Very simple. Now the London Open is right over here. You know what to do. Okay, London Open rights over here, came down. Okay, but obviously we will not take this trade. It's very huge down bar, right? We will leave it for the test here. The first test here, second test here, right? So first test here, a huge supply line, right? Okay, we have a hidden up thrust here. But the problem with this taking the trade over here is that we can either take the trade right over here. This is F versus no result. Can you see? F versus no result here, right? And if we take this trade here, obviously our stop loss should be placed above high of this one. And now we can take this trade. Okay, the first trade. The second trade can be taken again when this is actually LPSY, right? After LPSY, what do we notice here? The second test here, and the second test, what do we notice?
Versus no result.
Now this is, you can say
No demand.
no demand, right? Okay, we can take another entry right over here, and our take profit would be obviously this low, right? As we have taken before. Now this time our stop loss will be lower. Why? Because this is the last high. So we can just place right over here. Here our stop loss was much higher, right? So obviously we will make much more money in this second trade. Got it?
Okay, but we cannot consider it as effort versus no result, is it?
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, this has the characteristic of effort versus no result, but predominantly it is from the structure we can say that this is no demand. Anyways, it's actually a major sign of. So both of these are here and here. These are MSOW. This one as well, MSOW, right? small m SOW. So this MSOW, this MSOW, this minor sign of weakness, M small means minor, M capital is major. So minor small of weakness, minor small of weakness confirms. This both confirms this FTI, this whole move. It also confirms this VCP pattern MSOW. It also confirms this redistribution, and it also confirms the distribution structure, right? Okay, and now if we go back to the 15-minute time frame, what more do we see here? Sorry. The price came back here, right? And now obviously we are waiting for the result here. Now, if you go to a 3-minute time frame, if you want to take a trade, can you take a long trade? Yes, you can take a long trade. How will you take a long trade? Because if we just draw a minor channel from here, because this is a major high, right? The first higher high, right? So this one can be considered as a second higher low. Sorry, second lower high, and we can draw this structure like this. And we did observe a minor, what do we observe? Oversold, right? Effort versus no result. Can you see effort versus no result here? Right? And here we have, you can see, right? So we can take another trade, a long trade, but remember that since we are against the bias, so we will not hold the trade for longer. All right. So you can take another trades, place a stop loss in the last low, which is this is last low, just below it. And then we can just extend it right over here. Can we or can we not?
Can.
All right. And now, you know that this is the whole structure, redistribution structure here, right? And now the price again comes back and tests this region again, this ice. Okay. What happened here? What do we notice here? Again, after was no result, right? You can take another short trade. All right. Placing a stop loss just right. This is the last, this is a major high, right? This is a major high. So the last high was this one, and this one. So which one is the highest high? Highest high, obviously, if we take this one, this high is actually lower than this one. This high is lower than this one. So obviously we can qualify this as the last high. So we can just place just few minutes before, few pips before, above this last high. And then we can take a trade and drag all the way down to here. All right. And if we miss this opportunity, we again get another opportunity here with no demand. So we have several entries here. Can you see?
Yeah.
So with the structure, we were very, very clear, right? And now what happened? And now what happened again? What do we see here? The price makes first high this one, second high this one. And then we can draw the structure like this. You can see a very huge acceleration to the downside, you can see. And increase in volume, right? The price came back. And now the price makes a first higher low here. Okay. Tested it here. Okay, this can be our second entry. But the problem is if we enter right over here, we will hit a stop loss, right? But sometimes we cannot do anything, right? We will have a losing trade. And if we lose this trade now, we get a second opportunity right over here, which in the form of spring. Okay. And there is an approach no result, right? Second opportunity, and then we can go long. Understand? Our stop loss would be just slight below here.
Okay.
Right, this high of the structure. So yeah, we may lose this trade, which 1 hour, right? Let's suppose we lose this trade with minus 1 hour. 1 hour. Okay, that's fine. How about this one? We made 3.35 hour in the next setup. So what is the what is the net total? If we just add it, right, we will get 2.25 hour, which is not bad, right? We are done for the day. Got it? And this setup occurs when? And now the London session, I think, should be open here. New York session, right? So let's suppose now we are taking a New York session. What do we see as a New York session? So now here we are, right? We are done with this session now. Okay, the London session. Now our New York session.
Sorry, Nick,
Sorry.
can you explain again why you draw the overnight session low for the London setup?
Where is it? This one.
Yeah,
For
the
the London.
overnight session low, because towards when London was going to open,
Yes.
it didn't take that low.
The London was open where?
3:15.
Here, right?
Yeah.
So why did not I take this one, right?
Yeah, correct.
Right, this one. Because this is developing low. It's not yet developed. We don't know whether this is a low or not. Right? We will only know this is a low once the London session has been opened. Because maybe the price keeps on going down here. So this is not a low yet. Am I right?
Yeah.
Right. So what is the last low between New York session? Okay, the session. Okay, now let me draw the session here. The last session here, right? Let's suppose from here, this is the area of overnight high and low, right? This is the area. In this area, where is the last major low? This one is the last major low, right? And what is the lowest low? This is the lowest low. Am I right? Before this developing low. So this would be the last developing low. This will be last, what to say, overnight session low. Do you understand?
Okay.
Because most of the time what happens in the past video, what happened, the London opens right over here because we have a jump like this and then the London opens already and then the London opens so the low has already been made. Here it's still a developing low. We don't know. Got it? So let's suppose if I do a swing high, swing low, which indicator do you use for a swing high, swing low? Not this one. Pivot high, pivot low. This one? Yeah. Okay. You see, this is the last major low. Can you see on the pivot? Now let's suppose I change it to 5. This is too much. 5, it should be okay. Yeah. This is the last developing low. This is, you see, this was the major low after London Open. During this, we did not have any developing low. The last developing low is this one, right? To identify high and low, what you can do, you can write down this indicator. Pivot high and low. Pivot high and low, updated this one, right? You can bookmark it. Okay. And when you add this indicator, pivot high low, you can go to the settings, do 5, 5 and 5, 5 and 5. Got it?
Okay.
So before London session, where was the last? Where was the last? Where was the last low? This was the last low, but this is not the major low. This is the last major low, the lowest low, right? So we will draw from here. Do you understand?
Okay.
And here, where's the highest point? This is the highest point. So we draw from here. Got it?
Okay, understand.
Now you may say, okay, this is the last major low, but this is outside the overnight high and low. This is outside the overnight session. The overnight session starts from 3 a.m. your time. Okay. Got it? Now we go to, hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, now let's go to next day, 12th. Okay, let me hide this. Okay. Next day, this one, London Open, right? So this one is 12th of July, right? This is London Open, right? And can you tell me the overnight high? Overnight high starts from which region? 3 a.m. your time at night. So there should be 3 a.m. right from somewhere around here, right? So the major high after this point would be this one, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Because the overnight session starts from here. We draw another line at the start of the overnight session. That's the vertical line here. This one. Okay. And now this is, if I draw the pivot point, the highest point after this one was this one, right? So we draw this major high. And the London session was open right over here. And the last low before this one was actually this one, right? This major low. Because this one is developing low. We don't know yet. Okay. And now we have high and low, right? So we can hide this now. This indicator is no more required. So this is high and low. This is London Open. So can you tell me the bias? The price is coming down and the price is doing what? Here the price is coming down, right? And the price range. And then at the London Open, it breaks down. What kind of structure is this?
Distribution. Redistribution.
Redistribution. Right. Okay. And at a redistribution process, we have another one because after the price pause here, this was a major high. Then we can draw a channel from here, from this pivot point. If we draw the pivot point, this, sorry, we need to do it 5, right? 5. This pivot point, this is the last major low, this first low, this one. We can draw this high and this high. Okay. And we can just draw the interface. So remember this, right? The London Open right over here. Now, what kind of structure is this? Yeah, this is redistribution.
Reaccumulation.
This is redistribution, but we are also reaching the overbought area. Am I right?
Oversold.
Oversold area. So here we have two things, right? If the price opens before it, right, between here to here, this point to here point, okay, we will have a bearish outlook. After the price becomes oversold and tested, it will become bullish. Am I right?
Yeah.
This is the idea. So you have to keep this in mind. So we now go to the 5-minute time frame. Okay. Now let's see what happens here. On a 5-minute time frame, London opens right over here. Right? Very simple, nothing to adjust. Everything is fine here. You go to the, sorry, you go to the 3-minute time frame now. Okay. We go to the 3-minute time frame. And the London open right over here. Are we between? Now we are between this trading range, right? We are breaking below this FTI. We have a falling through ice, right? FTI. So we have major sign of weakness because this was FTI. Am I right?
Yeah.
FTI. This was MSOW, major sign of weakness, right? So we in the background, what do we have? We have selling in the background, right? And now we will only take a short trade. Now we came up, tested this region again. Now we are between this uptrend channel, this downtrend channel, and we are testing this FTI, right? This after this FTI, we are testing this region. And after London Open, what do we get here?
Alpha versus no result.
Yeah, F versus no, straight away we can take this trade without thinking anything, right? Stop loss here, and then obviously a target would be just right here below this channel. Got it? Yeah. And
Yep.
now the price is just ranging and ranging. We did not see any kind of huge bearish moves. So we cannot, yeah, it's a kind of here the oversold is not established yet. The price is just ranging and ranging and ranging. Okay, right? But what do we see here? As the price starts ranging, what do we see here? Can you draw this SOT line from here, here? Right?
Yes.
Now we have shortening of the thrust right over here. We just noticed that okay, here we see that lows and lows are just getting wider and wider. But here, as we come down, as we broke through this channel, the lows become near and near, right? Very near. So it is SOT, shortening of the thrust. SOT is observed already. And how the price breaks through SOT? Huge volume, right? Huge volume here, right? Rise in volume, but it's not very high yet. Okay, it's not very high yet, right? We still have some kind of we still have this developing structure, but we know that we have SOT here. The price came back here, rise up, right? And the price came down here, and now here at the testing of this region. Okay, now see the testing here. This region here, the testing is higher or lower? The volume is much higher in the testing, right? Because this was the first low after it, right? First low. At the first low, the testing was much higher. You see the volume here, then this it's higher, so it means it will be retested. Whenever there's a high volume, it will be retested. So this is higher low. Okay, and now the price goes up here, right? And here, what do we have here? M. Am I right? MSOS, major sign of strength. Okay, and what happened?
Wait,
yeah.
1 second. Why did you draw a straight line at the volume bars there? Is
Here,
it
straight line. Because I'm comparing
is it
the
because
volume.
the volume.
I'm comparing the volume of here and here test. That's why I draw the straight line from here to here to see if the volume is lower or higher than this reference area.
Okay.
But what happened when we exceeded, when we see the test here, okay, when we see the test here, the price actually exceeded this volume bar. So what I normally do, I tell you, to make it simple, okay. Sorry, where did it go?
If I accidentally close this volume, volume indicator,
then you
how
can
can
do
I
this.
make it?
Redo, undo, this undo. For
Mm,
example, I close
okay.
it. Okay, I can press undo, it will reopen. Got it?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Right now, I just draw the low, right? This is a low here. We can draw the line, straight line. Do you see? You have draw the reference line from this volume level and see how the price will test this region. The price tested here at this region, and you can see the volume much more higher than this area. Am I right? So I told you, whenever we have a high volume test, what we need to do, this area will be retested again. Okay, and this area was retested again. Now you see the volume at this point and the volume at this point. Is it lower?
Yes.
This test region, the test is successful. Got it? And now what do we have here? Of course, we have key reversal here. If we don't take this trade, we can also take this trade. Afterwards, this one here, right? Now we can go up easily. Just let's suppose we take a trade here. Our last high was this one. Okay. Got it?
Yeah.
Now what happened? The price broke here and the price start making what? The price starts making higher low, right? And I told you when the price starts making higher low, we can draw the structure from here and draw in the next low and draw the structure again. Got it? Sorry. Right? Now what happened? You see, as the price reaches this climax area, what happened? The price fell down because our overall bearish, our overall bias was what? So we know that this is our ice line, right? This is our ice line. This is ice, right? The last major low, ice. So we can take this trade until here. We can extend this trade until here. Sorry. We can extend this trade until at this point. I will not suggest it, but you know, like you can if you want to, wish to. So I will just end it. I will just extend it right over this last high. Got it? Making it 2.51 hour. And now what happened? Obviously, what do we have? If this is MSO, this is secondary test, this is spring. After spring, what happened here? This area. The price just tried to break it but failed. Okay. Got it? And now we know that
Yes.
if we draw this structure here, we know that if the price reaches this area of overbought, and there is a reference line, okay, this is, and if you go to the 15-minute time frame, you will see that it will make sense. The price is just, this is FTI. After FTI, the price testing this region and then came down. Got it? The same concepts apply here. Okay. And now what happens here? The price makes a overbought, test of overbought, and our bias was already what? Our bias was what? But remember that this was a AR line. If this is MSOWS, then this would be AR, right?
Yeah,
Here,
correct.
so obviously when we are going through this AR, what do we notice here? This is actually jump across the creek, right? So yeah, now we have two. At this point, our bias is what? Bullish. At this point, our bias is bearish. Got it? And as we come down, right, we can take the short trade right over here at jump across the creek level. And now what we do here, the price breaks through it. Okay, it starts what? What does the price do? We do not have any opportunity. We did not tested it out, right? There's very, very simple volume. Nothing special in these volumes. Nothing special here. Same bars, nothing up, down, right? Nothing special. And now once we break through it, what do we notice here? The price makes a huge volume to the down upside, right? 2-bar bottom reversal. When we have a 2-bar bottom reversal with a huge volume, this means that the buyers are coming in, right? And what do we notice here? Higher low, higher low, higher low. What is this? What does this show you? VCP pattern, volatility contraction pattern. Am I right?
Yeah.
VCP pattern. So obviously, now where can you take a trade? We can take a trade here at this point, after versus no result, or we can take a long trade right over here. Because this bias is also, because the bias here is what? The bias here around this AR line is bullish. Why? Because this is jump across a creek, right? So this should be LPS, last point of support. Am I right?
Yep, correct.
Okay. So if you take this trade here, now we know that our last, this is our last low, our last major high was this one. We can confidently take this trade like this. And after this jump across the creek was observed, this whole bias was actually changed. Got it? The bias become bullish from here. And we have already become oversold here, right? So there is no more. So right there is no, what to say. We should not think it as a what to say, as a bearish bias anymore, because the bearish bias ended right over here. And now after this jump across the creek, it becomes bullish bias. Yeah, this was a short-term bearish bias because of the overbought. Okay, and we have an increase in volume. See, accelerating bars, increase in volume. After was no result. Test. So this is a short-term bearish move. Got it? Short-term bearish bias. But in the long term, because of this jump across the creek, the bias has changed, has suddenly changed from the bearish to bullish. You got it? Now we have the bullish bias. Now what happens, right? We can draw the from here. This is what we saw, right? We can draw from here to here. Now we have this one as a major high. We can draw the structure like this, readjust it. Got it? And you can see For the whole day, the bias was bullish because, got it? But we have another thing, shortening of the thrust right over here. See, this one, shortening of thrust. And what do we see here? The price breached here, but did not breach well, right? The price immediately returned. The price breached here, came back to the trading range, right? So this becomes our, what to say? This becomes our buying climax. Got it? And then this is the testing volume, after was no result. But the problem is the after was no result. Was it higher or lower than this one? This whole area? It was lower, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's all right. We can take our trade as a bearish bias here again. So bias would be bearish all the way along this overbought and this starting of the thrust line, right? Got it? And now we can take our trade. And what happened? The day finishes and the next day was, now we broke this channel now. Now obviously there's a bearish bias. And as we go down, we can draw the channel again and you can see that this becomes overbought, shortening the thrust and the price goes back up again. Got it? Now let's go for 13. 13. Do you understand for 11 and 12?
I think for 12 towards the end, I still am not familiar with the technique. So
Okay, I will. Okay.
practice on it.
Okay. So here, you know that the London Open was here, right? Now you will tell me, this is London Open, right? Can you tell me the last high? Where's the last overnight high? At 3 a.m. your time, around here, right? This is 3 a.m. The last major high around your time was this one. So if you draw the pivot here, yeah, this one, of course, before London Open, right? And how about the lowest low? The lowest low, I think, should be this one, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now we have high and low. Okay. Now what we can do? Can you tell me the bias here? You see the price is just redistributing and then going up. Redistribution and then going up between high to low. So bias between overnight high, overnight low, and overnight high. Overnight low and OH, overnight high. Okay. The bias in overnight high and overnight low is bullish, right? It's bullish. And London opens right over here, right? And the bias near. Now between high and low, we can further do it, right? Okay, I will do the webinar again because the time is less. Okay, so let's do another one. Okay, so I'm calling you again. Okay.
Right.